Friday, and on Fridays we go live from Wild Birds Unlimited in Joliet to tell you what's new, what's happening in nature, what's happening in the store. My name is Ellen. I'm one of the owners here, and we love going live on Fridays to come talk to you guys. So tonight, because we had so many questions and a lot of you coming in the week talking about nesting season and how to prepare for it, and that is exactly what we're going to talk to you tonight about. We are talking nesting season and how to prepare by offering nest boxes and nesting material. So tonight we're going to talk all about how to do that and what to look for in a good nest box, what to look for, what are the key features, where to place it, how to place it, when's a good time to place nest boxes. We're going to talk all about that tonight. We're also going to talk all about how to offer safe nesting material for your birds, and we also have some new item that I want to show you guys. I'm pretty excited to show you guys this, so really excited. It's finally here. If you watched us during our last year when we were at conference, I took you guys on a tour of the trade show, and one of the ones that we stopped at was our pole system supplier, and they have a new bird bath. And guess what? It's finally here. So I'm going to show you all of those, and I'm going to go over all the features and what makes it so special and what I love about them. But we're also quickly going to go over some of our events, because tomorrow we are having an evening event. We're having a Smithsonian bird-friendly certified coffee program with tasting and some snacky snacks too. So please come in and join us for that. Please call the store ahead of time to let us know that you are going to come, so I can put your name on the list and we have enough seating for everyone and table space and all of that. So be sure you call the store, or when you stop in tomorrow, put your name down so that we can add it for the list. All right? But also coming up on Monday, we have our Monday morning bird outing. It is on the 10th this month, so be sure you come by Rock Run Preserve. We meet at the Black Road Access, and I will be going out, and we'll see what we can see. We have a lot of new bird species that are migrating in, so maybe we'll get lucky and see some new returning waterfowl, hopefully. And of course, we're always on the lookout for our resident birds, but it's always a great time to connect with nature right in our own backyard of the store, pretty much, right? So it's always a good time. We meet at 9:30. It's going to be the last 9:30 meetup time before we hit our spring and summer time, where it moves up until to 9 o'clock. Okay, so and then next Saturday, I'm presenting in the store on the wellness benefits of birds. So if you would like to learn how bird watching can lower your blood pressure and improve cardiovascular health and improve your emotional and mental health as well, you can come in store and join us for that. It will only be available in store, so I'm not going to be streaming it. You have to come in the store to hear it all, right? Okay, so now that we've got all of our events are now available on our website and on Facebook, so be sure you check that out. The other things I want to talk about before we get into the housing is our new item that has come in. I want to go over what it looks like, how you can use it, and all that good stuff. I might have to back up just a bit so that you can see it and not be so close to here. All right, I think we're in a good spot here. So we have a new bird bath system. Really excited. It actually is made by the same creators of our typical Wild Birds Unlimited selection of bird baths. Came with like a plastic dish, and it has a metal stands. They come in 14 inches and 20 inch diameters. We have a new bird bath dishes and a new stand. And I'll show you some of the benefits of these guys standalone, but then I'll show you how you can also use it with stands that you already have. Okay, let's go first. I want to quickly go over these awesome bird baths. Now, the stand and the dish are both lightweight. I would say they're very lightweight in similar to the ones that we currently carry. They're very lightweight. So they're plastic, they're durable, they are easy to clean, they have a coated finish on them, and they are super easy to clean and maintain. I don't know about you, but I really love when my dish is able to just come off. I can take it right to the area I want to clean it, whether it's in my yard or in my utility sink. I can spray it off with a hose really easily. Scrubbing it is no problem. I love that it's lightweight, so I don't have to deal with that big concrete thing, hauling that around, hauling all the cleaning gear to the bird bath. That's what I love about these systems. Now, they do come in a couple new colors. So this one is, in fact, our California copper color, and we also have it in a couple other colors. I do have it in a deep green, which is this one. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. But my other two colors that are absolutely stunning is our charcoal color. I like that nice gray color. It has that kind of shiny finish on it. Love, love, love that color. But my favorite, my all-time favorite, I know many of you are also going to love this color, is the new cranberry color. I don't know if the color is doing justice. I'm going to try to hit it with the light, but it's just the most beautiful purple color that you have ever seen. It is absolutely stunning. You've got to see it in person because I don't know if this video is doing it any justice. But these bird bath dishes have a new stand, okay? And this is the stand right here. So I don't know if you can, I'm going to try to get it a little bit better. Maybe if I hold it up, you can see it a little bit better. Look at that, okay? Now, the thing is how I'm holding it is actually setting it up for it to start to collapse. So what I love about this stand is that if you do bring your bird bath in the winter, or if you exchange it for a heated bird bath in the winter, this makes putting it away, storing it, really, really simple. It collapses to a really skinny diameter, and of course, you can re-lock it by opening it back up and only holding the outer. It locks itself, so it's really, really cool. How does it stand on here? Because, yes, this is on there. It's not sitting on it like the old ones. It is actually a magnetic base. And let me show you exactly how that works. On the bottom of these bird bath dishes is that magnetic strip, but there's also these 3 dots. And let me show you how we lock it in. We're going to twist it to unlock it, and the same thing to lock it on. So I just set it on there, and the top of this bird bath has a really unique locking system. So those 3 dots are essentially going to sit in here and lock into place, and then the magnetic is going to hold it on really tight. So you don't have to worry about bird baths that are emptied, possibly that dish flying off because of high winds and the light dish that you have. These are going to lock on. I mean, they lock on, guys. I'm picking up this whole bird bath dish with this on here. I don't think that was on there very well. Let's try that again. There we go. That's a solid hold. But what I really, really love about it is that if you have an existing 14-inch bird bath, because these only come in 14-inch, these new colors right now, okay, they're only in 14-inch. Do you have the old style, right? Whether it's a tall or a short, the 14-inch bird bath dishes that are branded Wild Birds Unlimited stands, these dishes do go on because they have the lip from like the old ones. They do sit perfectly on there. Look at how perfect it is. It works just like your other Wild Birds Unlimited bird bath dishes, the plastic dishes. These work just as well, okay? And they work perfectly. They sit right on it, hold it, and grip it down like on the other ones. Love, love, love that you can reuse a stand that you currently have and switch out the colors. Maybe you really love that purple cranberry color and you want to use it on a stand that you already have. You sure can do it. And that's what I love about the system. that you can interchangeably change out your dish color. I love, love, love these colors. Love the new durability of them. I love how they lock into place on the new system. So if you do end up wanting to upgrade your stand to the new stand, you sure can. But if you don't and you want to keep your old stand but upgrade that dish to that new pretty color, you can sure do that. Did you see, did I show you a good image of that green color? I want to show you this one too because it's a little bit different than the copper, because the copper is truly plastic, whereas these colors, the charcoal, the deep green, and the cranberry, are actually made out of metal. Okay, and whereas the charcoal and the cranberry color have that smooth finish on it, the deep green actually has kind of a textured finish to it, which is kind of nice. I hope I'm doing it justice in this color because it is really a very beautiful emerald green, deep green color. It's absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if I can get that beautiful color. Oh man, nothing in turquoise right now. I do have a nest box in turquoise though. I'm going to grab it just to show you and have it here for the live because we are talking nest boxes. Just let me grab it real quick. This is one of our turquoise nest boxes. And let's get to it. Let's talk about the main thing that we're coming here to talk about is how to prepare for nesting season by providing nest boxes and nesting material. And tonight, specifically, we're going to talk about how to choose a properly designed nest box and tips on installing, like placement and when's a good time. Okay, that's the big things on nest boxes. And we're also going to talk a little bit about nesting material and how we can provide safe nesting material for birds. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's get talking about it. Let's make sure this is all stable so it's not going to roll away from me. Okay, so the big thing when picking any nest box, okay, because each of your nest boxes is you're determining what species you are trying to attract. That's the first question when you come in here and say, I'm looking for a nest box. My next question to you is always going to be, what kind of bird are you trying to attract? Because believe it or not, there is some science to birdhouses, okay? And the main component, and there are some factors with sizes of box, but the big one to look for is the hole, the entry hole. How big it is or how small it is going to determine what type of bird is going to use that nest box. I'm going to grab two examples to show you. All right. These two nest boxes look very similar, but there are some big differences. And one of the big differences is that hole, the entry hole. Okay, the one right here has an entry hole that's appealing to your eastern bluebirds and tree swallows. Whereas this nest box hole with a little bit of a smaller hole is going to be much more attractive to our wrens and our chickadees. Okay, these two boxes, while similar, are obviously attracting different types of birds. The size of the box is also determining what type of species is in there. A bigger box is going to be more hospitable to a larger bird versus smaller nest boxes are going to be used for smaller sized birds. Okay, I hope that really helps. We have a wonderful chart here at the store that you can come in anytime and take a photo of, or if you need me to send you a photo of it, please let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to send you that picture. But it has all the specs for every type of bird that uses a cavity nester, right? So some birds are cavity nesters, meaning they use a nest box or a cavity in a tree to nest in. Some birds don't. They use a cup nest that they build out in nature, all right? It's out in that tree or shrub, and they will never use a nest box to nest in. Only some species of birds uses nest boxes or birdhouses, Okay, so that's important to think of. If you ever see a cardinal box, that's marketed for cardinals to use as a nesting box, I hate to break it to you, but it was horrible marketing by someone that probably does not know birds at all, because cardinals do not nest in nest boxes. They make cup nests out of nature. Same with hummingbirds. Unfortunately, I often every year around nesting time see marketing for hummingbird nest boxes. And unfortunately, our ruby throats do not nest in cavities at all. They make cup nests out in nature. So it's important to talk to experts that know about birds and know what they need in the terms of compartment space and what type of birds might use them, to determine before you buy. Just don't go on Amazon and just buy whatever looks good. It also needs important features. Now let's talk about those important features real quick, okay? I'm going to put one of these down. Let's put this one down. All right. Let's talk about the important features for your nest box. I'll make some room here. Make some room. All right. Number one, besides having the proper size hole for the type of bird that you want to attract, there are some other key things to look for. Number one is that you want it made out of proper material. And proper material, it can be many things. This one is made out of composite recycled plastic. Okay, wood houses are great. Okay, so there can be a lot of things that bird houses can be made out of, but what you want to look for is that it's made out of something that is sturdy and then is long lasting. We don't want to buy something that's potentially could be only used for one season. We want to be able to use it for many seasons because that's more sustainable. All right. The other things, key features that I look for in any nest box that either I bring here in the store or that I'm buying personally myself is a clean out. Now this one has a clean out right here, this side here. If I turn this little lever, it's actually keeping this side door, this clean out, accessible. This nest box also has a clean out or a monitoring section right on the top. If I turn this knob on the top, I open up the top of the nest box. So this could be used as a clean out at the end of the season or between broods. You could clean out the nest and make it more sanitary and clean, eliminate those parasites for those birds so they can start and make a fresh nest in the clean box between each brood. Or maybe you're just cleaning out at the end of nesting season. Believe it or not, nesting season goes in general from March through August. So birds are nesting all the way through. Okay, so one way you could do it is by monitoring your box. If you are watching closely, you can see if those birds are from eggs all the way to chicks to fledging the nest. Once they fledge and leave the nest, those birds, the adults, they may try for a second brood in the same box. So if you can, if you've been watching, you could potentially clean it out for them to help them out, okay? The other thing that I look for in a nest box is drainage and ventilation, okay? Drainage are oftentimes holes near the bottom of the box. This prevents if any water, heavy rain potentially got into the box, that it would be able to drain out to the bottom of it and not obviously let the little chicks or eggs sit in a lot of water. Other ventilation is similar, usually near the top of the house, but in this case, it's actually right underneath this awning of this lid, right? On both sides, there's ventilation. We know how summers get, and summers do get very, very hot. We want to make sure that we have ventilation so we don't cook any eggs or chicks in there, okay? The other thing besides a clean out and good drainage and ventilation is a grooved area for or a fledgling ladder. And the best way I want to show this to you is on one of my favorites nest boxes right now is our bird reel camera, house feeder, okay? So bird reel has two different feeder cameras, right? We have the hummingbird one, we have the one that holds seed. You can also get a attachment for this one for hummingbird access, but the new one is the new nest box. Okay, so this one, similar to the feeders, is where you can watch your nest and the birds that make the nest 24/7 via your phone. Okay, so it sends video, you can take photo from that live stream, but it's solar supplied, so there's no wires and none of that. It's pretty much you put it out there, connect it to your Wi-Fi, and you're gonna watch birds just like we do. Oh, my head's in the way. Just like we do. We're watching Jackie and Shadow today on our TV. Just like all of those nest cams, you too can have your own nest cam. And in here is a great example of what I'm talking about a fledgling ladder. Okay, if we open it up, right here is the fledgling ladder. So many times in many of our nest boxes here at the store, on the inside is either grooved, or it's a rough surface on the inside panel here, or it has a fledgling ladder. And this is going to help the babies when they're trying to leave the nest by using this ladder to get up to the hole. Since most of the time the nest is actually in the very bottom of the box, those birds have to get to the hole to leave. So this kind of helps them and aids them in that process. This is a great gift idea for upcoming Mother's Day, or if you know someone that would really love a nest box cam, or if you know someone that has a birthday or any kind of, you want to dote on someone, this is a great gift for this nesting season. All right, now let's come back over here because I want to quickly talk about placement, because placement makes a big deal. Okay, people often tell me, all right, I have my feeder set up in the background in the backyard, I want to put up a nest box. Where should I put it? Now, some people, have their, let's say that this pole right behind me, the silver pole right here, is our feeder station. And some people say, oh, I put my nest box up over here, but I'm not getting any takers in it. Well, the reason for that is because your nest box is a little too close to your feeding station. Okay, we recommend that you put your nest box about 15 to 20 feet away from your food and your feeders, any of your bird baths. I like to put it in relation to if you are raising your baby at the gas station. That's what it's like, putting your nest box so close to the feeder station. Feeders bring in a lot of birds, and sometimes those birds are strangers to each other. It also sometimes can bring in predators. So when you're raising babies, just like human babies, we want to make sure that they're safe and in a safe area being raised. Same thing should be thought about with your nest boxes. Nest boxes are going to house the next generation of babies, okay, the next generation of birds. And we want to make sure that when we're replacing this, it's going to be safe not only for those eggs and chicks, but for the adults and the families that are raising them. So 15 to 20 feet away from feeders and other bird baths, right? The other thing that I would recommend is that you want to face, if you can, try to face your nest box where that hole is away from prevailing winds. Okay, so that is if the winds are blowing really hard in this direction, we want to make sure that we're facing it a different direction so it's only going to hit the side and isn't going to hit directly at the entrance hole. Okay, creating a cold draft, making those chicks even more cold, the eggs colder. Mom has to work extra hard to incubate. Okay, so make sure that we're facing it away from prevailing winds. We're also wanting to protect the nest box. So if you are hanging this in a tree, you want to, or anywhere really, even off of a like a shepherd's hook of sorts, you want to make sure that wherever you're hanging this is a sturdy spot. Okay, we want to make sure it's sturdy, but not only that, we want to make sure it's at least 5 feet high. If it's lower than 5 feet high, it's kind of a risk, right? Not only could it be risky for the family that goes in here, it may be too much of a risk for the adults to even try to make a nest in there. So raise it up at least 5 feet high. I highly recommend using a pole system with any nest box, whether it's one like this little one that even has the hanger on it, or a bigger nest box like the ones behind me. And how I mount it is with this pole system. I love, love, love our basic pole systems, but this one in particular is a mounting set. So in here, in this kit, you're going to get that auger. Oh, let me turn it the right way and get my finger aligned. You're going to want to make sure that that auger is going into the ground. So you're going to auger it in to the ground so it's nice and stable. There are stabilizers that come with this. And the other thing that it comes with is a mount. That mounting bracket will go on the back, usually the back, of your nest box. So maybe like this. Right? It's going to go on the back right here. And then it's going to sit with your pole underneath it. The other big important thing about nest box mounting is that we want to make sure that predators cannot get it. Okay? And predators may be able to climb up a pole. So that's why I would really, really recommend adding a baffle to any pole system with a nest box underneath it. Unfortunately, critters like raccoons and your squirrels are omnivores, meaning they'll not only eat plants and seeds and fruit, but they will also eat eggs and other meat sources where they can find it, okay? So, because of that, between baffles, there are some other tricks that you can do. This is called the Bird Guardian. And just like the picture kind of shows, it is going to extend the entrance hole of your nest box. Now, a positive, and why you're doing that, is because of this. I don't know if you can see it really good, but on this image, it shows a raccoon reaching its paw right up into that nest box and grabbing eggs. What this is doing is it's extending it so they can't actually get their arm in there to reach anything. It's going to go to make them extend and not be able to break down to reach anything below. So this is another great way to protect your nest box. This is twofold. So this kind of does the same thing. It can extend the entrance hole. But this little piece of wood that comes with some screws, there's another great use for this. And the use for this is oftentimes something like this. If you have a wooden house. And one of the unfortunate things about wooden houses is that they are sometimes subject to squirrel and other critter damage. So what sometimes happens is that whether the squirrel was trying to actually use the nest box, or perhaps they were just gnawing on the wood to file down their own teeth, this is a great way to not only extend that, the diameter of that, let's extend the hole more so they can't reach in it, but this can help if you have some really bad external damage and that hole has grown enormously due to squirrel damage. We've been using these to help fix the hole shape. Okay, so let's say it was really eaten up and we can't fit some other predator guards on there. This is a good way to kind of mend that so that you can still put the screws in, attach that hole, and then it's not done once this. I would highly recommend using one of these. These come in a variety of sizes, but essentially they are port guards. They're copper port guards. So they come in, we have them in copper, but we have them in metal in a couple different colors. But the idea is that you are putting this, let's use the right size one. That's for a bluebird house. You're putting this on the outside of it, that hole, to protect it in the future from squirrel damage, okay? The squirrels won't be able to gnaw through the copper. They're not going to be able to get that wood gnawed down and destroy your box. Now, if it has already been done, you may be able to fix it with this wooden piece. And then I would highly recommend putting these port guards on top of that. The other cool thing about these port guards is, let's say that you have a large hole nest box, but you aren't getting your bluebirds in it, and you're in fact attracting the starlings. Okay, what can we do? Well, there's a couple things you could do. You could obviously monitor the box and try to attract a tree swallow or bluebird into your bluebird house. The other thing you could do is potentially close up that hole some. So by using a smaller port guard on top of a house that has a larger hole, you can minimize the hole, which in turn restricts the size birds that are allowed in here. If you put on a wren size port guard, which is 1 inch diameter, onto this, it's only going to allow birds like wrens into this house, meaning you're excluding your starlings, you're excluding, unfortunately, your bluebirds, but you're excluding also the house sparrows who cannot get into a 1 inch hole. So it's kind of a cool way to not only beat competitors that are looking for housing, free housing, but it's also a great way to repair housing that may have damage from squirrels. Okay? Put that one back over there. All right, the next part I want to talk about real quick is when to set it up. All right, I already told you, nesting season goes generally from March until August. When's a good time to put up a birdhouse? Well, I'm going to tell you that if you came in any time of the year, I'm going to tell you that any time is a good time to put up a nest box, because there's a couple things. If you put up a nest box in spring, you have probably the best chances of getting a bird to use it as a nest box and seeing that new generation growing right in your own backyard. But the best time where you will have the most chances to attract your bird to your nest box is going to be before the end of March. All right, that's why we're doing it this today, guys. So you have all the preparation you need to get the boxes the way you need it, where you need them, because we want them up for the most success rates is if you put that nest box up before the end of March. By doing that, you're giving the birds the most time to not only find the box, but use the box, okay? So that means, yes, you can put it out in winter. If that means it's going to be out when they are going to need it, that's awesome. Obviously, I've told you before, any bird that uses a nest box in spring and summer for nesting season could potentially use a nest box as a winter roost. So it's not all that bad if you leave your box out all year round. Not only are you prepared for when nesting season is here, but you're also ready to go for any birds that might need a shelter in a really bad winter storm. So things to think about, right? I also want to let you know that it's okay to be patient. Sometimes it can take a season or more to attract the specific bird you're looking for to come to the specific area that you have your house. Okay? It's not to say that you have it in the wrong spot. It just means that the birds haven't found it yet. All right? And it can take a couple seasons, and it's just important that you pick the appropriate size box or the appropriate size hole for the bird that you're trying to attract. Okay? Yes, I would definitely put them at probably 15, at least roughly 10, 15 feet away from each other. That's what I would say for multiple nests. The question is, if you have multiple nest boxes, should they be set apart in a certain amount of distance? I would say yes. I would say yes, and it's kind of a question. Okay, so out in nature, natural cavity sites are harder and harder to come by. So if a particular tree, perhaps has two holes in it, one bird may be on top and one may be on the bottom. It's a couple things are in factor here. Could be the type of species of bird that's nesting in that spot. Sometimes some birds are very territorial and they will not let any bird within a certain vicinity of their nest box. Okay? Now some birds are a little bit more friendly with others, and within reason of their own nest box, they will allow other birds to come in. But generally speaking, 15 feet is about where I would say from the other box. It would be a safe distance to make sure that anyone that nests in that box would be happy with a neighbor that in that distance away. So it's not too close where it could be competition for nesting resources and potentially food, but it's also obviously close enough, and I think 15 feet is pretty doable in most yards. Does that make sense? And that may be that you need one in front and one in back. Now we have nest boxes in the back of the store, and I'm going to tell you that they are not 15 feet away from each other. I would maybe say that they're 10 feet away from each other. The thing is I have never had in those boxes two nests going on at the same time in those boxes. Usually what happens is I get a wren in one box, and then after they are done with that nest, they move to the next box. Just how it happens. I'm hoping this year we can attract a chickadee to one of those boxes. We're going to do some extra work, and I'll show you exactly what that's going to look like. All right, let's talk about nesting material real quick. So, nesting material. Now, birds don't need help finding nesting material, right? They can pretty much there's a lot of nesting material out in the natural world. But, doesn't mean that you can't give a helping hand by providing safe nesting material choices for them. Because it is a very stressful time. Nesting season has a lot in that goes on in it. Not only do they have to attract a mate and defend a territory, build a nest, right? There's a lot of things that go into nesting season. And it's a very stressful time, and every little bit of help that you can give your birds, the better they're going to be off. Okay? So, I'm going to talk about what safe nesting material looks like and what to avoid and why. Okay? So obviously I talked about because obviously it's stressful for the birds and it's obviously giving them a helping hand. But the reward for us is that we get to witness this awesome behavior from birds. That they are raising the next generation. If you have kids or grandkids, this is a wonderful learning opportunity for them to see and witness eggs to birds. It's pretty incredible. And even as an adult, I still get goosebumps every time I even see the nest cams, the eggs and chicks, when they hatch. I just love it. Hey, if you didn't know, the barred owl cam from WBU is now live. You can go check it out on our website. It'll be up on our website this weekend, but you can also find it on our Facebook page too. So it's really, really cool. Let's talk about resources that are good. Now, natural resources there are a lot of, right? Think dried grasses, twigs, dried pine needles, dried grasses, dried twigs, the plant fluff, like from milkweed, that downy fluff that comes off of there is great nesting material. Sticks, bark strips. There's a lot of nesting material likely right in your own backyard. So when it starts to warm up, and I might not say right now, but maybe in a couple more weeks when we start getting into safe temperatures to start cleaning up our yards, I always like to wait until we're into a steady 50s, because that means that your overwintering insects are now out and about likely at this time. So when that happens, it's a safe time to start cleaning up the yard. And what I mean by cleaning up, I'm just essentially collecting a lot of those grasses and sticks and twigs and bark that has been on the ground from all winter. And I'm taking all that material and either putting it in one of my clean suet cages, one of my clean seed wreath feeders, or I'm even just putting it out on my table or underneath a bush near feeders so that the birds might use it. Okay, obviously we do have some safe, good natural nesting materials here in the store, whether it's our nesting alpaca balls, our nesting natural fibers. We also have Hummer Helper. It's great. People love this for hummingbird season, and hummers love this, but also many other birds love it too. And wood chips. Wood chips are used for some of our bird species. I like to put a little bit in there if you're trying to attract woodpeckers, but also some of our larger like wood ducks and kestrels or screech owls. If you put a little bit of wood chips in there, it's more inviting for them. Okay? Now, obviously we talked about that birds don't necessarily need us to help them collect material. They know what things that they need. But there is some things to consider not allowing them to by not offering certain things, right? And the things that Cornell now says are not good nesting materials are plastics and synthetic material. Okay? Tinsels, cellophane, foil, dryer lint. Okay, that used to be a big thing, using dryer lint for nesting material. Yarn or string, especially if it's dyed or synthetic. And long or treated animal hair and people hair. Okay, and the reason is because many of these things, these types of materials that I just listed, are either harmful or very deadly to birds. Okay, synthetic material, long pieces of string can actually entangle and strangle birds, especially babies. Okay, baby birds have very thin skin, and material that is treated by chemical, whether it's dyed or it has been treated, like pet hair sometimes gets flea and tick treatments. That stuff can actually seep into their skin. So Cornell has advised people not to use that type of material to offer to birds for nesting material. Okay? So it's important to remember that just because birds will use certain nesting material, like dryer lint, like yarn, things like that, doesn't mean that they should be. Does that make sense? Okay? So we can help birds make safer nesting material choices by making it easier and more accessible to get the safe nesting material. So if you are offering your nesting material out there, providing the natural sticks and twigs, pine needles out in your backyard, easily accessible, putting it out there and in the open for the birds to collect, you're not only going to make it easier for them when they're ready to do their nesting, you may be even helping them start even earlier, which is great because we know when birds start nesting earlier, their young have more time to develop and have a better success rate. Okay, so the more that you can help your birds by providing safe nesting housing, by providing safe nesting material, you're going to do your birds a better justice. And in return, means more birds for you, because the more that they have young, the more birds we have in our world, and the more we get to enjoy them. I hope that makes sense, okay? Guys, have any questions on any of that? Don't forget, tomorrow we have our bird-friendly coffee program at 6 p.m. tomorrow. Give us a call if you'd like to participate or stop in the store and put your name on the list. We're going to be having a short program with a coffee tasting and some snacky snacks for anyone that like to come. We sure would love to have you. I'm really excited. Bird Friendly Coffee has a big, huge place in my heart. And I know Greg Dubois is also a major player in with supporting bird-friendly coffee. And we know it helps our migratory songbird species. If they didn't have where they migrate to every winter, like your hummingbirds and orioles, they go down winter where we're growing coffee. If we eliminate their home and habitat, they will no longer come and visit us because they don't have a home to migrate back down to. So we may lose certain species. It's important to know that we and the choices that we make with our own coffee purchases makes a difference to birds. And you can help one cup at a time. So join us tomorrow, 6 p.m. for that program. Check out our website or our Facebook to list all of our other events happening this month. We cannot wait to see you. And thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next Friday. All right, bye now. Thank you.